Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are back once again. This will be our third installment of the Wrestling Rant with jago107. And that's me. Now, I'm sure after earlier when I posted the video about WrestleMania sucking donkey balls, nobody would have expected them to turn it around so quickly. I'm still laughing on the inside over this. WrestleMania last night was terrible. Let's not kid ourselves. But Raw tonight, I think almost completely redeemed how terrible it was last night. My God. The mistakes that they made last night, almost all of them were fixed tonight. Yeah, so, I'm trying to remember exactly how the night played out, because, I remember there was a match. Oh yeah, Daniel Bryan went against Big E Langston, and Langston frickin' squashed him. That was nice. Gotta make up for him and Ziggler losing last night. That was really the only match I remember that happened. Oh yeah, well the match, or the night started off with another god-awful Cena promo. So, at least they decided to start things off on the sour note and then build from there. Of course, really the whole night was made by the crowd. This crowd, they're in New Jersey. I forget the name of the arena and the exact city, but this crowd went above and beyond to make this show just absolutely awesome. So, yeah, Cena comes out first and cuts his lame promo, and the whole time the crowd's booing him. You know, they probably chanted some stuff like Cena sucks, all that crap. They tore into him, and they didn't stop. So finally he got the hell out of there, and the match with Daniel Bryan and Big E Langston happened. You got that, Langston won. And then after that, I really don't think there was anything else after that match besides they got into this, it was a 2-on-1 handicap match. Alberto Del Rio, our world heavyweight champion, takes on Jack Swagger, his opponent from last night, and his manager, Zeb Coulter. Yeah. Yeah, so, this 2-on-1 match, Zeb Coulter never even got tagged in, by the way. He hit Del Rio a couple of times from behind, but that was pretty much all he did. Del Rio managed to win, and he got Swagger to tap out to his cross arm breaker again. But it doesn't matter, because after the match, Swagger had been working on Del Rio's ankle the whole match, by the way. He's had, apparently Swagger's been working on Del Rio's legs for the past couple of weeks, just leading up to WrestleMania. Oh, crap. Well, anyway, so Swagger's been working on Del Rio's legs for the past couple of weeks. And tonight was no different, so he's working over Del Rio's legs. Doesn't matter, because Del Rio still got the arm breaker on him, and Swagger tapped. But, after the match, Del Rio is still selling his hurt legs, and finally, after missing, not really missing the chance last night, but finally, Dolph Ziggler cashes in his Money in the Bank briefcase, and after just beating the holy hell out of Del Rio. And coming close to actually tapping out. Del Rio actually got lucky and managed to get the arm breaker on Ziggler. But Ziggler, being the smart guy that he is, went after Del Rio's hurt ankle, which was right out in the open, because when he does the cross arm breaker, Del Rio's legs are pretty much draped across the dude's chest, right? So he uses his free arm, Ziggler does, he uses his free arm to wrench on Del Rio's hurt ankle, and he wrenched on it hard enough that he got Del Rio to break the hold. And so they get up, and Del Rio's groggy. Ziggler hits a zigzag from hell, the whiplash effect, and he finally wins, new world champion. The crowd went friggin' nuts. I mean, as soon as Ziggler's music hit when he was coming down, they blew up once. But when he won, they blew up even harder. This crowd got behind some of the best stuff. It was great. So Ziggler cashes in, new world champion. Thank God it's about damn time. And, yeah, so after that, I'm trying to remember what happened. Oh yeah, after that, The Undertaker comes out and starts cutting a boring-ass promo, which is no different than his normal. He's never been all that good at promos. He stumbles over his words. Yeah. The thing that made The Undertaker good back in the day is because he kept his fucking mouth shut and he let Paul Bearer talk for him. Now that Paul Bearer's dead, we can't have that. And that was probably something I forgot to mention in my other video, is the guy who played the Paul Bearer character died just a couple of weeks ago. And as sad as that was, they decided to make it part of the frickin' storyline. CM Punk stole the urn that supposedly Paul Bearer's ashes were kept in. He stole the urn. He kept tossing it around. He dropped it a couple of times. It was kind of really bad, but at the same time, it kind of made the feud better because, like, whatever. But in the end, that wound up being the reason why Taker won, because he won and reclaimed the damn urn. So, really, Punk screwed himself by stealing the urn. If he hadn't done that, he might have been able to beat Taker. But oh well. So anyways, Undertaker's cutting this promo. Boring. And then the Shield starts to come out. They come down, they get ready to jump the Undertaker. They're up on the apron. And then all of a sudden, the posts blow the hell up with Kane's pyro. And Kane, in storyline, is the Undertaker's brother. So Kane and Daniel Bryan come out to have the Undertaker's back, and they basically scare off the Shield. The crowd was booing this, by the way, because they wanted the Shield to rip the Undertaker's ass apart. I wanted them to tear him a new one. But oh well, that segment came and went, doesn't matter. I'm trying to think of what came next. There was so much stuff on this show. And I know I'm not really doing much here in the game. I'm trying to concentrate on remembering what happened on Raw. I don't really remember everything that happened after that. I remember sometime after the Undertaker promo, oh, well, this'll help. Yeah. Yeah, really trying to remember all that happened. I know after that is, I think they did a couple of backstage things where they were trying to, because of, the Shield match last night, where, Randy basically screwed over his team by stealing the tag from Show. And Show wound up clocking both of them for it because, he felt slighted. Show actually cut what seemed like a heartfelt promo acknowledging that. He said, you know what? He stole the tag from me. And I didn't like that, so I cleaned his clock. I knocked him out cold. And honestly, I felt more like show was turning face here. I'm like, he's got a point. Randy stole the tag from him. He did. I watched it. That's what happened. But anyway, so they're cutting this promo and they're doing all this stuff. And then, this is the stupidest thing. Sheamus goes up to Vicky Guerrero. And as I mentioned before, she's the managing supervisor of Raw. So she's basically the one that controls Raw. Sheamus goes up to Vicky and asks for a match with Show. She basically says yes. Later on, Randy, backstage, goes up to Booker T, who is the general manager of SmackDown. This makes absolutely no sense because since he's the general manager of SmackDown, he has no power on Raw. So why Randy Orton would even ask him for anything on Raw makes no sense. He has no power on Raw. He's the general manager of SmackDown. But Booker T said, okay, fine, I'll give you your match with the Big Show. Randy asked for the same thing. He wanted a match with the Big Show too. He said, you know what? I made a mistake in convincing Sheamus that we could trust Big Show, and I want to right that mistake. I'm like, okay, I can see where you're coming from, but at the same time, you were still the one that screwed things up, Randy. Not only that, but you're asking the wrong person for a match. It's Monday Night Raw, not SmackDown. Booker T has no power. Anyways, I'm going round and around. They come out later, both Randy and Sheamus get in the ring. And they decide they're going to have some stupid Raw Active poll. They've been doing these Raw Active polls for a while. They're bullshit. Most of the polls are rigged anyways, so it doesn't matter. But they have this poll during the commercial break. They come back and they go, lol, it doesn't matter what you voted for. We're going to have Randy and Sheamus fight each other, and whoever wins gets to go against Big Show. So we start having this match between Randy and Sheamus. The crowd did their best to shit all over this match. And I like Randy. I couldn't give a shit less about Sheamus, but I like Randy. He's not bad, despite what some people might say. But the crowd just shit all over this match. They were chanting for stuff that was completely unrelated. They were chanting for... Hell, they chanted for all three of the commentators. There was a JBL chant, there was a Jerry for Jerry Lawler, and there was even a Michael Cole chant. And Michael Cole is one of the worst commentators, like, ever. And they still chanted for him. They chanted EC Dub. They chanted for RVD. They chanted for... I think even Justin Roberts, the ring announcer, got a chant during the commercial break. They were chanting for everything but the guys in the ring. They started chanting Randy Savage. It was ridiculous. They did their best to shit all over this entire match. And then they're getting towards the end of the match. Sheamus got dumped out of the ring. He went for the brogue kick. Randy ducked it, and Sheamus's leg went over the top rope, so he fell out of the ring. So, Sheamus is out of the ring. Here comes Big Show. He comes down, he grabs Sheamus, throws him right into the corner of the ring post. And even though that right there should have been a DQ because the ref completely saw it. Should have been a DQ. Randy should have been disqualified for, interference for the Big Show, and Sheamus should have actually been awarded the match. But apparently, I never heard a bell, so I don't know. But Big Show comes in, throws Sheamus into the post, and then he gets in the ring and he beats the holy fuck out of Randy. I mean, he KO punches him, and Randy sells it like a champ, because he's good at that. Show throws him out of the ring, I think put him through the friggin' announce table. Speared him on the floor. I mean, he speared him and ran through his ass. This was like the spear that Reigns gave to Randy last night. He threw Randy over the announce table, tried to throw the announcers' chairs, and these are like big office chairs, like computer desk chairs. He tries to throw these things into the ring. He tries it with two of them, and they bounced off the ropes and came back out. So I'm like, do the other one, there's still one left. And the funny thing is while Show came down to beat up Sheamus first, the crowd is chanting, "Thank you, Big Show." Again, just doing everything they could to shit all over this match. But anyways, that came and went. Trying to think of what happened next. After that, I believe we had another match with Fandango. He comes out to beat up jobber piece of crap Kofi Kingston, and was actually beating the crap out of him. And just as I predicted, because as soon as this match started, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna guess that hell, before the match even started, I'm thinking, okay, Johnny's going to come out and he's going to be going against somebody else. But during the match, Jericho's going to do a run-in and beat the hell out of him. And much to my dismay, that's exactly what happened. Johnny's laying the beat down on Kofi, and here comes Jericho. He jumps Johnny from behind, beats the hell out of him, puts him in the Lion Tamer, or the Walls of Jericho, and Johnny's tapping out to it, and then he hits the frickin' code breaker on him. Fuck you, Jericho. You need to retire, okay? You're supposed to give this guy the goddamn rub. Anyways, so that came and went. After that... I'm still kind of scatterbrained because this whole night was just fantastic. Ziggler finally won his damn world title and cashed in the Money in the Bank. His celebration, he was so happy. And AJ and Big E were there with him, and AJ's hugging him. He hugged the both of them. It was great. After Fandango... Oh yeah, and here's the funny thing. After Jericho lays in the beatdown on Fandango, they actually showed some continuity. Because Roberts, the ring announcer, again goes, you know what, because of a DQ... Fandango's your winner. He wins. Because Jericho came in, beat the hell out of him. That got Kofi disqualified. So, Fandango wins by DQ. So Roberts announces, here is your winner by disqualification, Fandango. And Johnny's little dancer chick that always accompanies him to the ring, because he's like a ballroom dancer, that's his gimmick. He had like a dozen of these hot babes dancing for him last night at Mania. That was great. I mean, who can say that? I had a dozen hot babes dancing for me. Who can say that? Okay? Jericho, fuck your fireworks, fuck your pyro, fuck you. Johnny had a dozen hot babes dancing for him last night. You got to dance with one hot chick on Dancing with the Stars. That's the best you're gonna do, Chris. Anyways, so after the match, I'm still scatterbrained, I'm sorry. After the match, Roberts announces, here is your winner by disqualification, Fandango. Everybody's been pronouncing his name right, and this has been, pronouncing it wrong, rather. And this has been driving him nuts. And this is actually the reason why he had the match with Jericho in the first place. Because Jericho decided to reuse an old joke that wasn't even that funny in the first place. Just making fun of him, just making an absolute mockery. And I know I'm just kind of standing around here. Anyways, let's move on. So yeah, everybody's been mispronouncing his name, and he's been having to correct him. So whatever. Roberts says, here's your winner, Fandango, blah, blah, blah. And so Johnny's hot dancer chick who's been following him around, she comes in the ring with a mic, and she's holding it up to his mouth. He's laying there on his back, sucking wind, because he just got a beating from Jericho. And he still has the awesomeness left in him to go, no, it's Fandango. He still had it in him to correct Roberts mispronouncing his name. Even after getting his ass kicked, he could still correct the guy. That's just fucking great. So anyways, again, that came and went. I'm trying to think of what happened next. Damn mushrooms. Anyways, yeah, so that came and went. I think the next match was... I can't even really remember much. I'm sure I'm forgetting some stuff, and I'm really sorry about that. I'm gonna have to fight these. Ugh. I'm forgetting some stuff and I'm sorry, but the punchline to this joke is we actually get treated, and I'm doing air quotes, I know you can't see them, but I'm doing air quotes around the word treated. We get treated to the god-awful 8-person tag match that we were supposed to get at Mania last night, but it was scrapped. We finally got the Bellas and Team Rhodes Scholars versus the Funkadactyls, and I think this is their actual tag team name. I'm trying to remember what the hell it was now. Tons of Funk, I think is what they call them, their tag team name. But it's Brodus Clay and Lord Tensai. I still can't remember his new hip-hop name. I don't care. They're both fat pant loads that ain't worth shit. By the way, the crowd, like I said, was awesome all night. When the Funkadactyls, Brodus, and A-Train came out, they were dead quiet. Crowd couldn't give a shit less about these lame asses. And they gave even less of a fuck when they won. Because, yeah, the finish of the match, the Bellas were tussling on the outside of the ring with the Funkadactyl whores, and Rhodes somehow wound up knocked out of the ring. Sandow's in the ring by himself, sandwiched in between Brodus and A-Train. And he literally gets sandwiched between them. They hit the ropes, and they sandwich him in between them. And then he falls down, they both hit the ropes again, and do a big double splash on him. And that's the finish. These two fat pant loads, it's all they've got is their enormous weight. They've got no charisma, they've got no actual talent, and neither they're two little whores. So, anyways, I'm really getting tired of this fucker hitting me. Die already. Sorry. Anyways, so we finally got that match. It sucked, just like I thought it would. It was short. It sucked. Damien Sandow and the Bellas can't save this crap. Cody is actually decent. I'll give him enough credit. Even with him, they couldn't save this crap. The Funkadactyls and tons of lard, that's what I'll call them. You can't have any people carry these pant loads in a match. It just can't be done. So, anyways. So anyways, that match came and went, blah, blah, blah. I'm still trying to remember what else happened. I think that might have been the last thing we got before the main event, which, in the opening segment, I mentioned that Cena came out and cut a promo. At the end of it, he said he was already ready to defend his newly acquired WWE title. And he said he hadn't checked the Power 25 ranking, which is horse shit anyways. Nobody cares about that. So out comes Mark Henry. No idea why. Apparently he's at the top of the Power 25. They brought it up. He must be at the top of it. But, so anyways, he comes out and basically challenges Cena to a match. And again, Booker T comes out. And I know I'm backtracking, but I have to bring this up to explain why this shit's happening. Booker T comes out. Again, I don't see why he thinks he has any authority on Raw. This ain't his show. You run SmackDown, bitch. Take your ass back to SmackDown. Yeah. So anyways, Mark Henry comes out and challenges Cena. Booker T comes out and says, okay, fine, you can have a title match against Cena if you can beat him tonight. So they were building up to this all night. This was the main event. Mark Henry and Cena. Non-title, of course. Ugh. So yeah, they finally have that match. And again, the crowd is shitting all over this. They were pretty much dead quiet for Cena when he came out. They actually were chanting the lyrics to Mark Henry's music while he was coming out. Again, shitting all over Cena, chanting same old shit. Probably you can't wrestle, all that stuff. This crowd was great. And here's the thing. The match ends in a countout victory. Henry and Cena are on the outside, and it looked like Mark was going to slam the dog fuck out of Cena on the floor. That didn't happen. Cena ended up reversing it and throwing Mark into the ring steps at the 8 count. Cena dives back in the ring to beat the count. So Cena dives in the ring to beat the 10 count, and Mark gets counted out. The fans booed. They did not like that. So basically that means Henry don't get no title shot. Fuck. They didn't like that. But after the match is over, Henry jumps back in the ring, just flatlines Cena, just runs him the hell over, and then picks his ass up and gives him the world's strongest slam, which effectively puts Cena into the Hall of Pain, as Henry calls it. I couldn't give a shit less about Henry, but anything to beat up on Cena, that's all I care about. And the crowd was behind it. They're like, yay, beat the fuck out of him. But again, since Henry's actually a heel, we can't just let that go. No. Out comes Ryback, his opponent from last night, and I know I forgot to mention that in the video for WrestleMania. I did add that in the description as the little addendum, so yeah. They had their match, it sucked, both of them are freaking hosses. Ryback comes out and chases off Henry. So he chases off Henry. And then basically in a show of, I wouldn't call it sportsmanship or anything, but Ryback basically showed up Cena by getting the crowd to chant "Feed Me More," which is Ryback's little catchphrase. His big thing is he's always hungry. And this is actually a real-life thing that has become part of his gimmick. Ryan Reeves, the guy who plays Ryback, is notorious for having the most ridiculously big appetite, like ever. There's a video on YouTube of Al Snow talking about him from the first season of Tough Enough. The guy eats a ton. It's ridiculous. And so they made this his gimmick. He eats, and now he's getting the crowd to chant, "Feed me more! Feed me more!" It's ridiculous. And so Ryback's getting the crowd to chant it, and Cena jumps up on the turnbuckle. They're booing him. They're like, "Get the fuck off the turnbuckle, we want Ryback." And so, yeah. Cena's like, okay, fine. And then Ryback flatlines Cena. Meat hook clothesline. And again, the food references. It's dopey, but whatever, it fits the gimmick. So yeah, his big thing is this meat hook clothesline. That's not his finisher. But he hits this big meat hook clothesline and he just flatlines Cena. And the crowd popped like crazy, even though this was an obvious heel turn. In this crowd, no, it wasn't. Because these people got behind it. Again, anything to see Cena get his ass kicked. And that's what happened. Meat hook clothesline, Ryback picks him up for his actual finisher, which is called the Shell Shock. Picks him up, drops him with the Shell Shock. The crowd's loving it, they're cheering their heads off, it's great. And that's how the show goes off the air. With Ryback feed me more. And I can't stand Ryback. He's a hoss. I don't like him, but whatever. Just to see Cena get his ass kicked, I'll take it. That's how the show goes off the air. This crowd made this show. Ziggler getting his, finally cashing in, that was great, don't get me wrong, but the crowd getting fully behind Ziggler in this match. They were cheering for him the entire match, and whenever Del Rio kicked out of anything, they were booing. They're like, no, we want Ziggler to win. And not only that, but during the match between Del Rio and Swagger and Coulter, they were actually chanting, we want Ziggler. They wanted it, and they finally got it, and it's about damn time. That happened, and all this other crap. The show was great. This crowd just made it so much better. And, so yeah, crowd made this show. I'm probably forgetting something that happened, some matches, I'm not really sure, but whatever. This night almost completely made up for how terrible Mania was last night, and they really redeemed themselves in a big way. They really did. Yeah, so, yeah. So it seems like, they're gonna try and build to a feud between Ryback and Cena. Don't know why. Don't care. Apparently, a little bit of backstage news. Apparently, before the show, The Rock was supposed to open the show, cutting a promo, and he was supposed to get interrupted by Brock Lesnar. The Rock ended up splitting. I don't know what the deal was, but he went home to Miami, apparently. I don't know what the deal was. So, with him splitting, they were frantically scrambling backstage, trying to come up with anything to salvage this. And I guess what they came up was Cena opening the show with his crappy promo, and then having Mark Henry try and challenge all this crap. Blah, blah, blah. The excuse they gave, and this is in kayfabe, so this may or may not actually be true. The excuse they gave is that apparently during the match last night with Cena, The Rock tore a muscle in his abdomen early on in the match. And A, that's why he lost, and B, that's why he didn't show up tonight. But again, that was the reason they gave, so that may or may not be true. Don't know. But anyways, they had to scramble to think of something else. So, but whatever. The show wound up being great. Yeah. So, I think that's basically the end of this rant. Tonight's Raw was great. The only thing that would have made it better is if Fandango just kicked Jericho's punk ass. Would have been great. Anyways, that's going to be all for this rant. I will see if I can watch SmackDown, because as I mentioned before, I work on Fridays. I may not be home in time to catch all of SmackDown, but the thing about SmackDown is they pre-tape the show anyways. It's hardly ever live. And when it is live, they try and make a big deal out of it. And when they do it live, it's live on Tuesday, because that's actually when SmackDown is taped. They tape it on Tuesday and they play it on Friday. So yeah. I will see if I can watch SmackDown, or all some of it at least. Maybe I'll be able to get home from work early enough that I'll be able to catch all of it. I doubt that. Friday, I actually kind of end up there at work a while. So anyways, I will see if I can do another rant on Friday. Hopefully I'll have some more good news about SmackDown being great for once, because I hardly ever watch SmackDown anyways. The commentators. always try and say, JBL especially. JBL is terrible on commentary. Let's just start with that. But JBL is always trying to say, oh, SmackDown's the A show. We fight on Friday nights. I'm like, fuck you, you do not. You're not the A show. You've always been the B show. And that's never gonna change. But anyways, let's see if SmackDown can actually be worthwhile Friday. We'll see. We will have to wait and see. But that's going to wrap it up tonight for this episode of the Wrestling Rant. It's about damn time they let Ziggler have the damn title. It's about damn time. That's all I'm going to say. Thank you and good night.